Hi, I'm Laura Wilson here with Amanda Phelps and Dan Ritchie to deliver your FAI Thrive Summit workshop. So today we're going to be doing a approximately 30-minute workout on the power plate. Amanda's going to be demonstrating the moves, and Dan and I are going to just be talking today about what that means for the active aging population as far as brain health, bone health, and balance for those populations. So Dan, as the president of FAI, is going to be letting you guys know, kind of helping me talk about what this does and how it's effective in working with those active aging populations. So you guys ready to get started?
Ready.
Awesome. So we're going to set the plate at a low setting. That means 30 or 35 hertz low when you're working on the plate. That's going to be the most comfortable and, quite frankly, the most effective when we're dealing with basic workout movements on top of the power plate. So if you want to go ahead and press start, Amanda, that'd be great. And always starting, you go ahead and press it again. Yeah, there we go. So we always start with a bit of a warm-up. And in this case, when we talk about the warm-up, it's a stretch and then a little bit of movement to get us rolling. So feel free to chime in at any time, Dan. Let's start with a hip flexor stretch, one of the tightest areas that we have, a long lunge position, and then driving those hips kind of forward and back, side to side, finding any tight spots that you might have. Notice that we have her on her knee for a little bit of extra balance. And you can see back here the column as well could provide extra balance for your clients if they needed it, as far as holding on and moving through the different planes of motion. And then perfect, let's go ahead and switch. So when you're training and working with your active aging populations, Dan, what do you find as far as where they're tight, where they need these extra stretches?
Yeah, I mean, every client's unique, of course, but low back and hips, very common. I would say pretty much all of us over the age of 30, low back and hips.
Yeah.
You know, we're too tight, we sit too much. So this is a common one for a lot of people. And then
let's go ahead and come to a hamstring stretch.
Yep, hamstrings, and then even the foot and the calf, right? And so a lot of the lower body places, you know, we just get tighter with age. And so if we can loosen up the hips and low back, that's huge.
So the good news is what you're going to see is in this particular workout, we do focus on those areas a lot. We're going to be going through ankle mobility, which we know is so important to gait and movement. And then I know you guys can't necessarily see the plate moving. Go ahead and switch sides for me, Amanda. But the plate is actually vibrating in 3 planes, forward and back, side to side, and up and down. And what that vibration does is it actually stimulates our position sensors in our body and kind of tricks your body into thinking that you're falling down. So it causes involuntary muscle activation. So next movement, I want you to go ahead, take that pad off. You're going to come on top of the plate, and we're going to be doing a little bit of balance movement. So lifting her heels off the plate, shifting her weight a little bit from side to side. And you can see that Amanda's holding on here. Again, we're talking about ankle mobility, which you mentioned. As well as then we're going to start working on those 3 things that we really want to target in the active aging population: brain, bone, and balance. Excellent. Now, if we wanted to progress this, and I'm sure you have clients, as I have clients as well, that could actually lift their foot off the plate, balance on one leg. Those little position sensors, your proprioceptors in your brain, are now going crazy, saying, woo, we have to work really, really hard. And even if you wanted to, you can try it without holding on. It's much more challenging than she's making it appear, right, Dan?
For sure. Well, because you can't see it, essentially like a mini earthquake going on underneath her feet, right? And so it's that perturbation, right? It's that vibration underneath her that is making her brain think, wait, my foot's moving, something, am I slipping, am I tripping?
Yeah.
And so we're getting a lot more activity, a lot more muscle activation too. So.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to have you flip around, hold on to the column. So the other thing that Dan mentioned earlier is this idea of hip and spine mobility, the back. So I'm going to have you round your back and really tuck your chin, kind of stretch. Vibration is actually traveling through the column as well, about 70% of the vibration. And then just reverse that.
You can feel it up here big time.
Yeah, so that's going to work to do a couple of things. Vibration is coming from underneath, the the plate is leaving her and coming back, as well as in having that contact here to really work to improve spinal mobility, which is so important just for quality of life as we age. As you said, over 30, we really start to feel these things. So it's a great lower back warm up, shoulder, upper body as well.
Yeah, as we've gone through the whole quarantine process, even one of my trainers said, my back is killing me. Could I come in and use the power plate?
That's a wonderful testimonial to the power of power plate, right?
I missed the power plate.
All right, the last thing I'm gonna have you do as a part of the warm up is we're just gonna come down into a slightly squat position. And just a little bit of a hold here. She's just holding it. Now, again, we're thinking, what exactly is this doing? Well, we have this set at 30 hertz, so it's vibrating 30 times per second. Because of that mini earthquake, I love that description that you described, we're having 30 muscle activations per second. So talk to us a little bit about what that does as far as intensity in holding it here.
Yeah, I mean, you can't see it on camera. You have to experience this. That's one thing you're missing.
All right, go ahead and
via
rest,
camera,
Amanda.
right? Because she's working so hard, it's not just holding a squat, right?
Yeah.
We look at it and go, well, it's just an isometric squat. No, her body is thinking, I'm squatting and stopping 30 times a second, right?
Yeah.
And so what you're doing is you're getting so much more muscle activation. It's so much more intense, but it's very safe.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So even with a really frail individual that needs to hold on, right? I'm like, man, I can barely do 10 chair stands with them. I can get them on here, and they're doing 30 squats a second.
Yeah.
Right? And so they're getting a tremendous amount of work, tremendous amount of muscle activation, and that's a huge bang for our buck in just a short period of time.
Studies have shown actually that we get about 1 to 2 muscle activations per second on the floor. And then again, you do that math, and we're doing 30 per second here, so a lot higher volume of work too.
Yep.
So let's go into what our next section will be, strength. So we've got 3 moves that we're going to go through circuit twice. The first one, I'm gonna have you face the camera if you wouldn't mind. She's gonna really be happy about this, but we're coming down into that squat again. We just talked about the intensity and shifting your weight side to side. So in this section, we really dial into strength and focus on bone health for the active aging population. So if you wouldn't mind talking a little bit about the importance when we talk about the FAI and their principles of education, how important is it for bone health to be a priority in our training when we're programming?
Well, that's probably a whole nother hour, right, when we talk about bone density. But again, that muscle activation, right? We know ground reaction forces, we know weight bearing, we're gonna get some bone density increases.
Yeah.
And now basically what we're doing is we're multiplying that, right?
Yep.
So we're taking the squat, which we know is a great activity for improving bone density through the hips, through the femur. And basically what we're doing is we're saying, well, now you're gonna be introduced to 30 times a second, right? And so you guys have done all the research on astronauts and all these people coming back from space and stuff, right? We know we can change our bone structure through stimulus, right? But it takes a lot of stimulus. And that's what's so cool about this is great movement pattern. It's not that complex.
Go ahead and step off for a second. Let's
She's
give her a
probably
rest.
She's probably getting tired. She's probably getting tired, right?
Yeah.
So we take a fit trainer, they're getting tired. Imagine someone who's got osteopenia or osteoporosis.
Yeah.
We put them through a couple 30-second sets of this, and we're going to start stimulating that bone activity.
Yeah, so speaking of that, we're coming from the feet up. Let's actually have you come down into a plank. So go ahead and put your pad on. Now, the regression for this would be to have your client stand on top of the plate and go ahead and demonstrate that and have their hands against the column, because again, we know that about 70% of the vibration is going to come through the column.
The old plank against the wall, which we know doesn't really get a whole lot, but now it's getting a whole lot more.
Exactly, because you're still getting that stimulation from the vibration. But if you wouldn't mind demonstrating down on the floor as well, coming down here, again, not only just bone health, but in this case, we're talking about the wrists and the hands being in contact with that. So bone health, but the implications for treating, or easing arthritic pain, aches and pains in joints just due to circulation.
Yeah, I would say one of the biggest unexpected things when we got the 2 power plates last year, clients saying, my hands feel better, my arthritis in my hands and wrist is better than it's ever been.
Go ahead and stand up.
Right? Wasn't even something we were anticipating, right? But because of the hand work, the floor work, push-up position, plank position, bird dog position, all the different people are saying my arthritis in my hands and wrists, I have better range of motion, better strength, less pain, all of that.
It's a wonderful side effect
right.
of the power plate. So last movement in the strength, go ahead, take the pad off. We're going to be doing a full body move using the straps. Now again, the straps are a phenomenal tool. We don't have to add load, honestly, with a power plate because of that impact that we're receiving to the body. However, if you do want to add load, or if you want to incorporate more full body movement, the full kinetic chain, we can use the straps. So again, I'm going to press repeat for you here to keep it vibrating. We're utilizing nearly every muscle in the kinetic chain. So, and Amanda's saying, please don't let me stay here long.
She's going to beg for mercy. Don't talk too long, right?
So, okay.
This is intense.
So this cross pull here, really working back and posterior kinetic chain, but I'm sure you're also feeling it. And go ahead and take a break. But Dan, you and I were talking about this before we started our session today, and how intense you can make this.
Yeah, because it's essentially a total body isometric contraction, right? Her lower body's working against her upper body, right? And so the harder she wants to push up with her legs and pull herself back down with her arms, right? And then on top of that, it's 30 vibrations a second. So it's extremely intense. 30 seconds of this, you can come off there sweating heavy, breathing heavy, doesn't look like she's doing much. It's tremendously difficult. And of course, you can change the positions, right?
Yep.
You can do a bicep hold, any sort of
shoulder.
Isometric work is so functional, and it's so underestimated.
Yes.
We don't do it in the gym enough, but how often do we have to carry something, hold something, lug something around?
Right.
It's all isometric work.
And the great thing is we're actually combining it, because we're not just isometric. Again, because the plate is forcing muscle activations during that, so it's like a double whammy for you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So on top of the fact that it is also metabolic,
right.
We know what this is doing. When we have more muscles moving, we have to pump more blood. So she's also going to feel a little breathless, heart rate's going to come up, so we're going to have some added bonuses for the cardiovascular system.
Yeah, it's difficult to imagine. It's almost like I'm trying to pull a really heavy weight up, but I can't pull it up, right? At the same time, the ground underneath me is shaking, right? Violently, right? While I'm trying to hold this. So it's extremely intense.
Yeah.
And then you can do other stuff too, which we're not going to do today, but I mean, you can add dumbbells and kettlebells and other resistance implements.
It's limitless.
But I love the isometric, because this is really how hard does Amanda want to work against herself, right?
She's like, that's enough of that. So typically we would go through those same 3 exercises again. We're going to go ahead and move on to our balance segment. So the strength segment obviously works full body strength, and it's going to dial into that bone health. Our brain is working the entire time because it's having to say, muscles activating, I'm falling down, what's going on, so the neurological adaptations are happening throughout. Then we really want to focus on balance. We know that that's so important, particularly as we age, because our balance just gets worse as we age. So quality of life, being able to go upstairs, being able to stand up out of a chair, those types of things. And I'm sure you can talk a little bit about this, and I'll get you moving. But our first movement we want to do is kind of a modified tree pose. You're basically balancing on one leg. So starting with kind of the most basic option for this, holding onto the column, toe stays on the plate, then we can obviously, based on your client, advance that. Foot can come up onto the calf. And actually, if she wants to really show off here, she can let go of the handlebars. It's so much harder, again, than it looks. But just talking about balance and how the plate can address those things for these populations that we have.
Yeah, well, again, the beautiful thing is we want to do so many things standing, right?
Yeah.
And the plate allows us to do so many things standing and take it to another level, right? And so the same exercises we would do on the floor, now on the plate, are so much more difficult. I mean, even Amanda standing on one foot all of a sudden is difficult because the ground is not stable underneath her, right? It's constantly shaking. In fact, her brain is probably telling her, just put your foot down, right? Just put your foot down, because she's on a very unstable platform. So that's great stimulus for that foot. All those somatosensory receptors that are being stimulated, like what is going on underneath me, right? So great stimulus for any sort of unstable environment, or even just, a change in surface, right? So we go from concrete to grass, we have to quickly adapt, right? And so it's also, again, she's getting a lot of great isometric work, right? Her foot and her calf are probably going to get tired just from the isometric work alone, right? So.
She's like, okay, that's enough. So let's go ahead and go.
Definitely your active older clients are probably going to have to hold on
for sure.
a while.
For sure. I know that I hold on when I do tree pose usually. So let's just move into that next movement of a toe reach, and I'm going to have you keep your foot on the plate and hold on to the column, again, just to show several progressions of the movement, that we would start here, see how our clients adapt, and obviously you're going to do it on one side, then do it on the other, but let's just stay here for a moment. Then we would start to perhaps lift that foot off, reaching and trying not to come in contact with that particular leg, and then next adaptation would be to let go of the column, but put our foot back on, because now we have a little less stability here. And then again, progressing that, if your client is ready, to a reach with no hold. And it's just like this balance that we did with the tree pose. The challenge, if you guys can't see it up there, but we can see her leg, the stabilizing leg is really
hard.
moving.
Yeah, it's working hard.
Go ahead and switch, and you know, I just want to mention too, when we talk about balance, sometimes some other modalities can be a little scary to use with clients, such as balance boards or BOSUs, due to the risk of potential falling.
Right. Yeah, so we're putting her on a very stable platform, right? It's just like the ground, except now the ground's moving underneath her. So her foot doesn't have to compensate by doing something weird because we've put her on a weird surface or something that's curved or even moving, right? She's not on a rocker board.
Right.
We don't have to worry about her falling down. She can grab the column, right?
Yep.
And so she can really make it as hard or as easy in a very safe way, right?
Yep.
If she needs to hold on, then she holds on. If she can just use her fingertips, if she can take her hand away, bring it back. So we can keep her very safe, but make it much harder, right? As challenging. And so the prolonged single foot stance is what you're getting after here. Very effective. So.
Good. Thank you. She's such a great model. It's making this so easy on us, Dan. Right?
We're wearing her out, I bet. But.
So there you go, sweating already. So again, speaking to that metabolic effect that the plate has. So I'm going to have you turn around, face again, hold on to the column, and we're going to just do some basic calf raises. Again, there's one of the things that I love too is that we really can kind of have an infinite number of possibilities for what we can do and where we can progress or regress depending on what our client is able to do. So you can see here, okay, so it's challenging, but certainly not doable. For our 95% of our population is going to be able to stand up here, hold on, and do a calf raise. But we could progress that all the way to no hands, coming up. Immediately, we've got a little bit of wobble. It becomes much more challenging.
Sure. Yeah, you could add a dumbbell on one side to throw her off balance. You could add one of the straps on one side she's got to hold on to. I mean, there's so many ways you could take this, modify it, make it more challenging. She can hold on with one hand. She's got to hold something in the other hand. I mean, there's lots of different ways.
Yep.
If the client was really strong, we could even try it, a single leg calf raise. So.
Yes, which was the next thing I was going to challenge her with, but maybe we'll be a little kinder than that today. Look, she's like, I'm up for it. I'm up for it. So again, when we are really looking to program at Power Plate for those active aging populations, we're looking at what the principles are within FAI, making sure that we're trying to align the things that really are going to be the most beneficial and provide safety, not just effectiveness, but safety.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, safety is always a principle first, right? Doesn't make any sense to have someone come in that's a fall risk and do something that they fall in the right. So now we can stimulate all sorts of balance activities in a very safe way.
Yeah.
Right? And they'll feel pretty confident, right? Because, well, I can do this, right? This is something I'm going to do. You're not going to make me do something totally scary out in the gym just yet, right? So yeah, we always want to make sure we're minimizing risk and keeping clients safe.
Yep. All right, let's go ahead and we're going to kind of wrap up the workout, but this is honestly the best part, I feel like, because we not only have great success with brain bone balance as far as working through strength and kind of what we would perceive as traditional exercises, but you alluded to it a little bit when you discussed the plank and how amazing they felt through hands. But the massage aspects of the plate for honestly every population, but certainly as we age and our circulation decreases and our bones are in need of some of that percussive or impact training. So just talk to me a little bit about massage and what you've seen with your clients, and I'm gonna have you go ahead and get down and start massaging your calves.
Yeah. Well, the calf massage has got to be one of the most popular for most clients, but also, you know, forearms. You know, people have an elbow, tennis elbow sorts of issues, shoulders, upper back. I mean, there's so many just great ways you can use the vibration tool. I mean, it's essentially a giant massage tool if you're using it, you know, like, I'm sure Amanda won't mind if we leave her on this one for a while, right?
Right.
Like, sure, I'll sit here for a while.
2 or 3 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing that I love about this is with my clients, you can see that she's actually putting pressure down into our calves. With my clients, I can do that for them. And it is such an amazing feeling. You know, studies again have shown, we know the awesome impacts, and I say awesome in the true definition of the word, that the plate can have on those other systems that we've talked about. The brain system, the bone system, the muscles, the fascia is now what we're talking about. The lymphatic system and the percussion element, not just the circulation element, and how it can drive blood flow and really work to improve our immune systems.
Yeah, I mean,
get rid of toxins.
Essentially, she's getting a therapeutic massage effect, right, without having to go to a massage therapist 3 times a week, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, if you could get someone to massage your calves every day for 5 minutes, that would be great, right?
Yes.
But we don't all have that option, and so this is a great way for clients to come in, you know, if their calves are feeling tight or if something's hurting, you know, spend 2 or 3 minutes massaging it. Or if after your workout something doesn't feel quite right, you know, spend, like what she's doing. We worked her calves quite a bit, you know, so now she's giving them some TLC.
Yeah, and again, we're going back to those bits and pieces of our bodies that we know are so tight, particularly in the last couple of months. We're talking about ankles. You know, our gait and our low back is actually starts from the ground up. So if we can improve the mobility in our ankles and the elasticity through our Achilles and our calves, it's actually going to improve our low back and how we can function through glutes and this area up here.
Yeah, you can't squat if you got tight calves, right? I mean, and so many people come in, they're like, man, your squat's terrible. It's like their foot and their ankle and their calf is so tight that they can't squat, you know. So if we can loosen up, you know, what she's doing, make your calves a little bit more pliable, all of a sudden we start moving better, right?
Yeah.
We start walking better, we start picking our feet up better, stepping over things better, climbing stairs better, all those things get better. Notice she hasn't complained at all. She's not asking for a break or anything.
Let's go ahead and let's massage
like,
to the side, because this is another tight area.
Yeah.
The IT band, that area between the knee and the hip.
Tough area to get to. Nobody likes foam rolling it.
No, it feels terrible to foam roll, but be honest.
Move that
I was going to say
just a little bit.
We've got you can see we're being authentic.
There we go.
This plate is on, right?
Yeah, you can hear
the vibration.
You can hear it.
So whenever I have my clients here in this position, obviously you can see we're using the pad. It's a way to make our clients more comfortable so that they're not straining. We want them to try and be as passive and relaxed as possible. Bringing her knee in front and resting it here is going to help support their low back so that entire IT can be down on the plate.
Yeah. And you can see the plate is big, right? I mean, she's basically got from hip to ankle almost on the whole plate. That's a lot of vibration platforms are too small to do this sort of thing, and so that's a huge advantage. I mean, you can get you can get your whole upper back on there if you want to massage your shoulders. There's a lot of space here to work with. Yeah,
and this particular unit is the unit that you guys have here at Miracles Fitness, and I believe that's kind of what we're looking at as far as FAI when you're saying, hey, this is what we recommend, is having something with a nice stable platform, the columns so that we can use that for balance, enough space.
Yeah, and don't forget, this is an extremely high performance machine, right? So we're talking about active aging, but you're going to be able to use this with all age of clients, right? I mean, I could use this with an NFL prospect. I mean, it's is it every NFL team has it, or is there still one holding out?
There's still one that's holding out. But
I mean, 31 out of 32 NFL teams have it. So your whole range of clients, right, from the fittest to the frailest can benefit. And
go ahead and switch sides. You know, we need to stay equal. We got to keep her balanced here at the end. The other thing is I don't know how much the FAI does work with any kind of, when you talked about therapeutic massage, this is a certified medical device.
Right.
So just speak to that a little bit as far as you guys are concerned when you're dealing with clients and working with clients on something that is.
Well, that's a whole nother benefit, right? So the medical aspect to it, besides even fitness trainers watching this right now, we have physical therapists watching, chiropractors, physicians. This is something that all of you should consider having in your practice. So it's not, to me, it's not just fitness applicable.
Right.
I know physical therapy clinics have vibration platforms in their clinics, or if you don't have one, you should. And so there's a lot of medical fitness applications to it as well, right? And we're already seeing clients come in because they're like, I just want to use the power plate for my arthritis, or I just want to use the power plate for my osteoporosis, right? They're coming in for that specific thing, which of course we're going to get them into all our personal training program from that, but that's a great lead-in, right? As physicians find out that this is a solution, they're going to start
Hamstring stretch, Yeah, it's just it's such an incredible benefit to being able to use it on all populations and see that there are medical ramifications as well.
It's more than just a fitness tool, and I think it can open up some more of those medical referrals, because now a physician who says, oh, you have osteoporosis, I really want you to get exercise, and the client is resistant, well, why don't you go to this clinic or this fitness studio and just do 10 sessions on the power plate and see what happens, right? Well, people take to it very quickly, right? They enjoy it, they feel better, their joints feel better, and they're like, guess what they get? They get that metabolic effect, right? They have more energy. They're like, it's amazing what exercise can do for you when you haven't been doing it for 10, 20 years, right?
Yeah, and so many of my clients, as they age, either they cannot or they simply don't want to do those high impact things anymore. And sometimes it's not safe for that population when we think about, balance. And this is still going to provide all of the benefits of cardiovascular, as well as an even safer way to do impact work. So
it's essentially like doing 32 millimeter jumps a second, right? I mean, it's moving on the 2 millimeter setting, on the 4 millimeter setting even more.
Finish with a hip flexor stretch for me, if you wouldn't mind, Amanda. I'm going to put this over here as she's wrapping up. I want to just highlight the fact that we have periodized programming at PowerPlate that we're specifically working with FAI to provide to you guys. It's for that active aging population, and this was a sample workout that you would see, again, that 12-week periodized, several iterations of it, and continuing to develop it, available for FAI facilities.
Well, our hope, and we really appreciate you guys sponsoring the summit. Our hope at the live event was that people would experience it. And once you feel it and you experience it and you do the stretch that Amanda's doing, you're like, oh my goodness, this is like more effective than any hip stretch I've ever done, because you're getting those 30 vibrations a second. It's just so much more effective. So you have to experience it.
It is. It is an experiential device.
Here's the thing. If you wind up ordering one for your studio, obviously FAI has a discount you guys are offering. You're not going to regret it. Your clients are going to love it. I mean, our clients, I couldn't believe it. We got 2 of them, and very quickly my trainers are like, we might need a 3rd one, right? I mean, it's that popular. We use it all the time. Almost every session, someone is using it, right? Either a one-on-one or a small group or somebody, it's like, oh my goodness, they're always in use. So
that is awesome to hear. I love hearing that. Woo! The true testimonial. So where should people go for more information? If they're looking for more information about the Power Plate or the Thrive programming, where does that sit? Should they?
So, I mean, if you're on the Summit Live, right, just go to the Power Plate virtual booth. They've got information there where you can get discounts, more information, more videos from Laura. There's tons and tons and tons of education from Power Plate. If you're not on the Summit Live, if you're taking this in a week later, a month later, that's fine. You're just going to want to go contact us, and then we'll get you in touch with Julie and Laura and folks at Power Plate. And we've got Power Plate on our website, so you can always go to functionalaginginstitute.com to find out more. But if you're on the Summit Live, hit their virtual booth. They've got information there for you, and you definitely want to learn more. So.
All right. Thank you so much, Dan and Amanda. And thank you guys for joining us here today. Would have loved to have been with you live, but this is the next best thing. And then, trying it out, see what it feels like. That'll be key to really understanding what the power plate is all about. So we appreciate you joining us again. Please hit us up where Dan said you can find more info, and hopefully we'll be seeing you soon.